people are passionate about their season long. They're always going to care more about their fantasy team than their parlay lineup. So for us, we want to play off that. We want to give you the chance to, make money on that, play against your friends, and really get into the depths of season long as a weekly DFS experience.
All right, we got Dan here from Verse Fantasy. Dan, thanks for stopping by here today. For anybody watching or listening to us that's not yet familiar with Verse Fantasy, can you give us a quick overview of what it is you guys are up to?
Yeah, so thanks for having me, Jesse. I would love to. So Verse Fantasy really just plays off the culture we have in sports about fantasy football, fantasy sports in general, playing with your friends. Our product is really simple, but a unique tool for the gamer because it lets you sync your fantasy league directly from your season-long provider. You don't have to draft a new team on our platform. You bring it right in. You can play real money games on the rosters, how many points are scored in those games, who wins the game. We'll give you multipliers, we'll give you odds and all that. So it's a really new take on fantasy. We kind of like to brand it DFS 3.0 because we're getting away from the pick'ems and we're getting more into back to the roots of fantasy, which is, you versus me, fantasy football.
Awesome. Let's dive a little bit deeper there, Dan. So, the fantasy space is call it a little bit crowded, I guess. As a relatively new entrant into the space, what is it you guys are doing differently that's ultimately going to help your platform succeed in the long run here?
Yeah, well, everyone's seen a million sportsbooks ads, and at this point, DFS operators like Prize Picks and Underdog are just massive, and people love those products. So when I see the DFS space, I don't think, there's competition for the same products, that you got to come with something new. So what we did was we tried to build around, as I said, that culture of season long. People are passionate about their season long. They're always going to care more about their fantasy team than their parlay lineup. So for us, we want to play off that. We want to give you the chance to, make money on that, play against your friends, and really get into the depths of season long as a weekly DFS experience.
Part B to that question, Dan. The focus you have on season long, to me, season long almost feels forgotten about with all of, as you say, the proliferation of daily fantasy and Prize Picks and Underdog doing their thing, really pushing forward the parlay-esque DFS products. But you're sort of staying true to the season long roots. Like, what's your vibe right now or sentiment on the season long space and the people still playing it? Like, is it a growing category? Like, what's your overall sense as to that opportunity?
The experts I talk to say 60, 70 million people in the U.S. play fantasy football. If you take the people that are, under the age of 18, maybe that's 50 million, but that still beats all of the DFS, user bases. It's competitive with the sportsbook user bases. So when you're talking about monetizing a season-long experience, it really comes down to what do people care about most. And for us, if the NFL Network is showing you their fantasy points when they're playing the games live at Sunday, then clearly the culture is still there. It's not going anywhere. And we think we can almost reinvent some of the DFS culture into being season long.
Awesome. We have the most important part of the year coming up still, which is the NFL season.
Yeah.
Talk about what the next, 6 months look like for the rest of 2024. What milestones are you guys focused on? And I guess, if you think about the NFL season, what does a successful season look like for you in Verse Fantasy?
Yeah, well, last season we really were just getting our feet wet, getting live in, 23 states. And so this season we'll be coming in more states. We'll have more, product offerings for the League Sync and more day-to-day fantasy as well. But really, the partners we're going to be bringing on are going to be people of, companies of, cultural sort of cornerstones in fantasy. And we're going to wrap ourselves around that. And you're not going to be able to get around not seeing Verse Fantasy next season. That's what I'll say. So whether it's friends inviting you or, being on your favorite data tool, whatever that may be, you're going to see us soon.
Excellent. Well, look forward to seeing you guys in market this coming NFL season. Thanks for swinging by, Dan. Wishing you guys all the best and look forward to keeping in touch.
Thank you so much, Jesse.